Okay, I am live. I am late. I know. Give me 2 seconds. I just want to fix this because you guys know me. I'm sort of a perfectionist. I like to. Hi guys. Hi Green. Hi Shatan. Welcome. Just give me 2 seconds. I just want to fix this because I was running a little late. Had to make dinner for my son, and everything just kind of got a little earrings. Got a little caught up. Got a little caught up. So, but you guys already know. Better late than never, because you know I'm always gonna be here regardless. So I will never, ever, ever not be here. Hi Yashua. Trying to fix this just to make this a little bit even. I guess that'll do. Guys, it's freaking hot. It's hot, and this weather is so damn fickle. Okay, it was like 40 degrees this morning, and then I come home and it's like 65 degrees outside. It's ridiculous. All right, guys, you know the deal. I got to use my other phone so I can make sure I look at comments and I can properly interact with everyone. So just give me a second. Chillax for a little bit. And hi, Cicely. Yashua, yes, of course I remember you. Of course. I love to interact with everyone who joins us during the lives and who joins us, who comments on the videos and, who just pretty much gets involved. I love to talk about. I love to interact with everyone. Oh, wow, Shaitan. So he says, Namaste, Erica. For your live sessions, I wake up 5 a.m. because here in India, your session starts. Oh my gosh, Shaitan, thank you so much. I am so honored and so appreciative of that. And I'm so glad that, that my content can help you and whatever way it needs to help you. And, shout out to India. So thank you so much for being here with us. I definitely appreciate that because I find it hard for me to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. But thank you. I'm so appreciative. And I hope you get whatever you need out of this, and it helps you in your healing, and it helps you just in your journey because it's well deserved. It really is. So guys, let's get started with the intro. Welcome to Intuitive Vibes Narc Survival 101. It is your girl Erica here. For anyone who is new to the channel, if you're just peeking in, stick around. You may hear something that you need to know. Of course, you are going to be speaking to a lot of different people. Make yourself known. Let me know if you are new to the channel. People will be giving you a warm welcome. And of course, if you like today's session, go through some of our other sessions we have on Tuesdays and go through some of my other content. And if you find it to be helpful, then you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, so you're notified every time I put up a video. And of course, to everybody else, hey Gil, welcome back, guys. So guys, just a couple of things, and then we'll just get right into the session, the topic. I know you're not new, Gil. I've known you for so many years. First thing, let's see. Last week, Testimonial Thursday. If you guys have not yet seen the latest video, it's a testimonial video from a young woman. Her name is Leah. She gave her, her side of everything that has happened to her in her relationship with someone who is diagnosed with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. It's a very, very, it was a tough interview to do, in that it took a lot of strength for, everything that she had gone through. It took a lot of strength for her to get through that. And she definitely is an inspiration to a lot of people, men and women alike, who are experiencing narcissistic abuse, who are in relationships, in dynamics with narcissists. And of course, not just narcissists, but just abusive people in general. So if you haven't, when the session is over, if you want, go check it out. It's definitely something to watch. It definitely will, give you the idea of the different types of people with different types of dynamics with narcissists. and the things that they go through. You know, you might have more in common than you think. So definitely check it out. Um, what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else, but I completely forgot. I'm sure it'll come back up again because my ADD just has me going everywhere. So, guys, in today's live, what I wanted to Cicely, she did a really good. Yeah, she did. She definitely did, and it took a lot of courage for her to go back to that space. You know, go back to that part of her life which no longer exists. Thankfully, she's continuing with her healing, and it just shows, it demonstrates the amount of strength that you have. And that's another thing, guys. You know, a lot of people are still going through their emotions. A lot of people are still, still in the fog, still in the haze. And I get it. You know, I completely get it. Depending on, I mean, listen, it could be 1 month, it could be 5 years. Um, Abuse is abuse. But what a lot of people don't understand, people standing on the outside, of course, narcissistic abuse is not, it's not the kind of abuse that one can see physically on people. So when it deals with mental abuse, emotional abuse, a lot of people really don't, they really can't, what's the word for it? A lot of people don't resonate, maybe they don't resonate with what it is that everyone in this, in this live, on the feed, just as a collective, they may not resonate or understand what it is you're experiencing, because maybe they hadn't gone through it, or maybe they had and they just kind of like shut that part of themselves off. So a lot of people tend to think when you hear abuse, you think physical abuse, marks, bruises, scars, black eyes, busted lips. No, it's not just that. It's not just that. And mental abuse is actually, it's a silent killer, guys. Mental abuse is a silent killer. Okay. And by that, it can turn people into, to clearly something that they're not. And it can really push people to self-sabotage. It can push people to do a lot worse. So when it boils down to emotional and mental abuse, Can you guys hear me now? Let me know. All right, awesome. Sorry about that, guys. I guess when I got the phone call, it just knocked the audio off. So I'll just put a timestamp on the when it streams. I'll put a timestamp for anyone who gets who gets to the video when it streams on YouTube. Okay, awesome. So yeah, as I was saying, Chatan, it's going to turn into anger. It's the different stages of grief, and that's common with any kind of breakup. That's common with any kind of, detachment from someone. You're going through different stages of grief. You're going through the pain. You're going through denial. You're going through anger. You're going through a lot of different things. When you reach the anger part, that it's no longer painful, that lets you know that you're halfway there. Okay? That lets you know that you're halfway there. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. You're going to go through these stages. So, don't fight it. Don't try to fight it. But with that same breath, do not go out there trying to exact revenge or, do anything that may hurt you more than it would help you. Okay? They're actually expecting that, believe it or not, guys. When narcissists do certain things to try to destroy you, to try to hurt you, to try to make you just feel as minute as possible, they do expect for you to be reactive. This is why I say don't react. Try your best not to react. Okay, utilize that anger and that frustration to push yourself to do way better. Even stop and say to yourself, wait a minute, these people are doing this because they have no type of self-love. They have no type of conscience. They just don't give a damn. They just self-sabotage. You don't want to be like that. You're not like that. So leave them to it. Let them do what they do. Just remember, when you cut them off, keep it that way. And it can be hard. I know it can be kind of hard. So I'm actually looking and I can see, I can see myself trying to fix this. That's crazy. Just remember that, these people, this is how they live their lives. This is who they are. And, the experience itself is just going to teach you something. It's going to teach you how to discern, and it's going to teach you not to get involved with people like this again. Right? Because now you're going to start looking for the red flags. You're going to start looking for the signs. You're going to start looking for the different things that I tell you guys to look for, so you know how to protect yourselves in the future and you know how to maintain a healthy relationship. Okay? So we're going to get into the video. Yeah, just Chatan, don't let the anger get to you, honey. I know it's hard. It's really hard. Trust me, I've been there. Many a times I wanted to act on it. I wanted to, I really wanted to read people, like really, really wanted to just come flat out with it and hurt some feelings. I really wanted to do that. But then I decided, what is that going to do me? Because even after the whole thing is said and done, do you really feel better about it? Is it going to change anything? Is it going to change what was done? You can't change the past. You can't change what happened. You can only take it from this moment on into your future. All right. And just keep that in mind. So guys, the topic for today's live, what I wanted to talk about. And of course, if you have questions or what have you, just put them in the comment spot. Narcissists and sex. Okay. I've been really wanting to talk about this for quite some time. And before I get into it, the first thing I want to say is this. Number one, this is not an attempt to make fun of anyone, okay? To insult anyone, because if you're dealing with a narcissist, or if you dealt with a narcissist and they have certain dysfunctions, or they have certain hyper tendencies, not everyone who has these problems or these issues are narcissists, okay? Number two, this is just more of a way, again, it's educational. It's to give you the breakdown of what it is that you would be dealing with if you are possibly dealing with a narcissist, or if you have dealt with a narcissist. And it gives you clear understanding as to what it was you were dealing with when you were dealing with them. Now, narcissists and sex. People tend to think that with narcissists, all they do is cheat, all they do is cheat, all they do is cheat. Though it is true that a lot of narcissists do cheat, they do commit infidelity. It's not always sexual, okay? It is not always sexual. It can be on so many different things. Remember, any form of supply that they get can be anything. It doesn't just have to be another person, all right? Narcissists, when it boils down to sex, well, now we have to break things down, all right? Now you got two different types of people. You have two different types of narcissists when it boils down to sex. You have the hypersexual narcissists, okay? And then you have basically on the other, like the opposite side of the spectrum, if you have someone who's hypersexual, then you're gonna have someone who's not very interested in having a sexual connection with people. And there's a reason for that, guys. Now, we're gonna first start with the hypersexual narcissist. Usually, under the categories, a lot of hypersexual narcissists are the somatic narcissist. Okay, those are the the gold diggers, the hussies, the hustlers, the the females or even the guys who use their bodies to get what they want out of out of people of the opposite sex or out of people from the same sex, whatever their preference is. Okay. The hypersexual narcissists are the ones who basically use their sexuality to to gain and maintain control. All right. Now, let's say, for example, you were dealing with a somatic narcissist. Okay. You were dealing with a female somatic narcissist, and she was hypersexual. Dealing with a female somatic narcissist who is hypersexual is dealing with a female who will either cheat on you, be it with one person or several people, random people, clearly behind your back. Okay. It doesn't necessarily mean she's going to gain anything out of it materialistically, but people who are hypersexual narcissists are the kind of people who are basically trying to be conquerors. Okay. They're conquerors. Cicely, yeah, it's gonna be hard to hear. But just like Amanda says, maybe it is something that you do need to hear, because a lot of the time people tend to say that, well, sex, having sex with someone else, cheating on, it's just the act, there's no emotions behind it. Maybe not for the person who's committing it, but the person who is receiving that blunt end of the stick, that person is the one that that it affects the most. Okay. But as hard and as tough as it may be to hear about it, it's important. It really is important, because you have to avoid coming across a female like this, to avoid staying stuck in a dynamic with a female like this. A lot of the time we have to hear the things that we don't want to hear, but that we need to hear. Okay. Now, hypersexual, again, hypersexual female narcissist, she's pretty much going to be the type of person that uses her body, uses her appeal, uses her looks to gain, of course, outside sources of supply. Now, narcissists, because they have no sense of conscience and they really don't care, when it boils down to sex, they have no emotions. There are no emotions. So the one, I guess you can say the one, it really wouldn't matter, but the one beneficial part in dealing with a narcissist who does cheat physically is that there are no emotions involved. They're not emotionally attached to anyone. They're not emotionally attached to the person or the people that they have been sleeping with. This is just a form of conquer. This is a form of, I can have this person if I wanted to. And it's something to prove to themselves. It's something to pretty much, put that notch on their belt and say, I was able to take control. I was able to sexually conquer this person. A lot of hypersexual narcissists use sex as a weapon to keep people, basically to keep the leash on people. Okay, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in certain dynamics with other people. So if you're dealing with a hypersexual female narcissist, you're dealing with a kind of female that would not care about committing infidelity and would not even care about doing it with someone that you know or someone who's close to you. It's the thrill for them. It's the thrill. And the mere fact that they are able to utilize sex, especially in your relationship, they can utilize sex to punish you or to lure you in, to keep you abound. So you have to, you have to look at it in a sense of, this person was not emotionally, if you've ever been cheated on by a hypersexual female narcissist, this person was not emotionally attached to other people or to the other person that she slept with. She was not emotionally attached to them. With that same breath, you have to understand that though she was not emotionally attached to them, she was not emotionally attached to you either. Okay? It's all a conquest. It's all a way to feel that powerful, listen, what do they say? The vajayjay is power. And this is the type of female who literally will use that saying as her motto. And she will have no issues, no quarrels with conquering men or women, conquering them and utilizing what she has physically to, again, lure them in or control them. All right. If you've ever dealt with, a female narcissist, and in the beginning, clearly your relationship is different. In the beginning, it's great. It's fun. It's adventurous. The sex is great. Everything is going great for you. It's pretty much like, oh, damn, like, how did I get so lucky? That is how a lot of you have seen that person. But what you didn't understand then, that you need to understand now, was that was all part of her plan to get you hooked, to keep you in. And if she, if there were days or nights that you did not validate her, that you did not, boost her ego, or you did not do something that she felt, was something that you should have done for her, she will punish you by what? Withholding sex from you, right? Okay. And listen, it's common, so please don't feel embarrassed about it. Don't feel ashamed about it, because a lot of people have gone through this. Okay, you're not the only one. So in the beginning, the love life, the sex life, everything is great, but going into the midst of the relationship, clearly when it's that mask is coming off and she's showing her true colors and she's about to flip it around, she's no longer that fun-loving, adventurous, constantly on you, constantly hugging you, constantly kissing you, constantly giving you a piece. Now she's kind of distant, okay? And if she feels slighted by you, she will withhold sex. She will withhold emotions. We're not, because she doesn't have any. She'll hold affection. She will, withhold attention. These are the things that she will do. Now, in most cases, victims who have dealt with a hypersexual narcissist or, a hypersexual female narcissist, find it surprising that, well, you're not sleeping with me, but you're sleeping with everybody else. Or you're not sleeping with me, but you've been cheating behind my back. And I've done, and a lot of victims tend to ask themselves, what did I do that you are cheating on me with this person, or you cheated on me with this person? Now, sometimes they're going to deflect. They'll say, you weren't there for me when I needed you. Things haven't been the same lately. Or they'll give you all kinds of bullshit reasons, bullshit excuses. But just remember, they'll always deflect. They'll never take accountability. They'll never sit there and say, I was wrong for what I did. I shouldn't have cheated on you. I should have talked to you and tried to work on our relationship as opposed to going out of our relationship. The reason they don't do that is because they do not care. Okay. They did not care. They knew what the consequence would be if you found out, but they didn't care. They didn't care. Someone gave them some attention. It boosted their ego. They found that person attractive, and boom, they went out of your relationship and they slept with someone else. They slept with a number of people. Okay. There have been plenty of stories that I have read and I have seen where, you have men who have had girlfriends that were like, seriously, like, we're not just talking a one-time fling or a small affair. We're talking, one man with a girlfriend who was dealing with like five or six several different dudes. It's all about conquest. Hypersexual narcissists, it's all about conquest. It's about what I can get, when I can get it, how I can get it, and with whom I can get it. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to check on some of these comments. The sex part, Raphael, the sex part with my narc was all part of the manipulation of control and breadcrumbs. Of course. It's pretty much a way to control their victims. It's a way to keep you in check. Okay. If you notice, like, a lot of them are more fixated, like hypersexual narcissists are fixated on their performance, but it's not their performance to gratify you. It's their performance for you to praise them. Okay. They are not, first of all, they don't care about your sexual needs. They don't. Okay. They don't care about your sexual needs. And amazingly enough, you will probably, if you've dealt with these types of people, you will probably, hopefully you don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I hope you don't. But if you do, you probably find out that the things that you thought they would have done for you in the bedroom, they didn't do that for you, but they ended up doing it for the person they cheated on you with. Okay? They ended up doing all of these, becoming an exhibitionist, becoming just, open and out there. And it's like they're a totally different person, a completely different person with another individual. All right. In my honest opinion, people obviously like to use sex as a form of control. They like to use it to, maneuver the person in the relationship. But if they were just basically giving you, giving you good, we're adults here, okay, guys? Giving you good sex, giving you everything, whether it be oral or, or just, the way two people do it. I'm trying to make sure that I stay within the guidelines, okay, guys? But they were doing all of that to basically, like I said, get their hooks in you. And when they get their hooks in you, that's when they know how to maneuver everything and they know how to control everything. Okay. And remember what I told you guys, when you become involved sexually, when you become romantically involved with someone who is a narcissist, you're creating a soul tie with anyone for that, but you're creating that soul tie with them. And you are, intertwining that soul tie with that trauma bond. And, you're dealing with someone who clearly their ego appears as high self-esteem to you. Okay. So you're interpreting their ego as a form of high self-esteem. Okay. That they're confident, when the reality of it is that it's just pretty much that hollow shell, that hollow ego that's surrounding them. But in this case, when you're dealing with a hypersexual narcissist, it's truthfully, I feel really bad for people who have dealt with people like this, because it just goes to show that they have no regard, like literally no regard. They have no regard for you. They have no regard for the other people that they're involving. And they don't care, at some point, they don't care if anyone finds out. All they're pretty much going to do is, because if you sit there, you can sit there and, confront your partner or confront your ex-partner and say, well, you know what, you were sleeping around town, you were doing this, you were doing that, you're such a whore, blah, 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 whatever. They're going to look at that as, you're just bitter and mad, and they're gonna basically try to again deflect that onto you. You're just mad because other people want me, and I don't know, let's just use this as an example. Other people want me and they don't want you, or I don't want you, or they'll try to put you down because clearly what they're doing is wrong. And clearly you bringing it to their attention and confronting them on these things, they are not, remember what we spoke about, guys. They don't like criticism. They don't like being told who they really are. They don't like being called out. They don't like being read. Okay? They really don't. So the minute you start doing that, they're basically going to start calling out your inadequacies. Okay? Inadequacies. They're going to basically start insulting you, but they're going to insult you in a way where they're going to use your eroded self-esteem. You're just like, because remember, during the relationship, there was so much back and forth. There was so much, invalidation going on. They're basically going to flip everything and turn it against you. Okay. And remember what I told you that they do. I wouldn't have cheated on you if you had done A, B, and C. I wouldn't have gone out the relationship if you had paid more attention to me. I wouldn't have slept with your best friend if you had, you understand what I'm saying? And these are the types of people that, again, they're very like ballsy. They are ballsy, that they will sleep with people that they will sleep with people in your family. They will sleep with people in your circle of friends. Okay? They will do these things. And the crazy part about it is that a lot of narcissists who do these things, these ballsy acts, the mere idea of like you're so close to getting caught, but you don't, is a thrill for them. It's a thrill for them. So it's like if you were in your circle of friends, don't put any ideas in your head, guys. I'm just using this as an example. You're in your circle of friends, and one of your friends is sleeping with your narcissistic, your narc girlfriend. She is clearly, everybody's in the group together, and she is so ballsy with it that she will give little inclinations that they are sleeping together. And it's going to leave you kind of thrown off, like, is something going on here? And of course, it's kind of like that, it's kind of like that breadcrumbing. It's kind of like that breadcrumbing. Like she'll put the breadcrumbs to give you the impression or to give you some kind of inclination that, oh yeah, I'm sleeping with your friend Tom over here, but I can't flat out tell you that, because if I do, then clearly all hell's going to break loose and I'll end up losing my supply from both ends. But she likes to live on that dangerous side where she will, possibly flirt in front of your face and then like play it off like, oh, we were just joking around. Stop being so serious about it. You understand? Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. My eyes are like, Rika, thank you so much. Cicely, yeah, she used to beg me to do certain things, but in the end, she told me I wasn't good at all. I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, you know what? Don't. And one thing, guys, and that's we're gonna get into that. Ooh, we are gonna get into that. But do not for 1 second think, guys, and this is something I want you to understand, okay? Do not for 1 second think that because someone cheats on you and goes out there, to do whatever it is that they want to do, they blame it on you, saying, oh, well, you were never very good in bed and I had to go do this and this and that, or whatever the case may be. That is clearly someone who has issues. They have issues, okay? And their issues are within themselves. So do not internalize that. Don't internalize that, okay? And maybe, listen, a lot of different factors when it boils down to people and performing sexually, okay? There are a lot of different factors that play certain roles as well, all right? And in the end, if you are dealing with someone who is a narcissist, understand they're going to be very petty and very childish about things, extremely petty and childish about it. All right. But if you're dealing with someone who is an understanding, loving, caring person, an empathetic person, they're going to sit down and talk with you about certain things. So even if that person feels a certain kind of way about your performance, they're not going to be like a narcissist, clearly, and just say, well, you know what? F it. I can't, I don't feel like this person satisfies me, as much sexually, but I'm staying with them because, they can fulfill me financially, materialistically, and they go out there and they cheat on you. That was a clear-cut choice that they made, but that was a problem within them, not within you. But if you are dealing with certain types of stress factors, like certain stressors in your life, that can, guys, listen to me, that can hinder your performance in your relationship if you're dealing with a lot of different things. But in the end, do not internalize someone who chose to cheat on you, someone who chose to go out of your relationship and sleep with someone else and say, well, you're the reason I did it. I'm not a reason you're a hoe. Straight up. Straight up. Okay? Straight up. Because, a lot of probably I'm gonna go off the subject just for 1 second. I was talking to Amanda about this. And I said, if a woman is single and she chooses to date, she chooses to become sexually involved with, the people that she wants to date, or whatever the case may be. That does not make her a hoe. That does not make her a whore. Doesn't make her any of those things. It makes her her own woman because she's not tied down to anyone. And she's basically, having fun, enjoying her life, doing what it is she's doing, and she's not hurting anyone. Okay? That will not make her, anything other than who she chooses to be. Now, what makes a female, okay? What makes a female a HOE is a female who chooses to go out of her relationship to sleep with every other guy out town, in the town or in the area or in your circle or wherever, okay? Who chooses to cheat on you and continuously do so while using you, while abusing you. That is what makes her an HOE, okay? So let's just keep that in mind, guys. Okay, we're gonna basically, but you can, simply put, if they try to deflect blame onto you, saying, well, I cheated, I slept with Tom, Dick, and Harry, I did all of this, and I went out of the relationship because you weren't doing your job as a man. You weren't, making love to me like you used to. You weren't doing this. You weren't doing that. You didn't make me feel this. You didn't make me feel that. First and foremost, your response needs to be, I am not responsible for any of that shit. That comes from me willingly and freely. And at the end of the day, it's a two-way street. Because if you notice, your relationship, the reason you're not giving into it anymore, the reason you weren't giving into it as much as you used to, the reason you were basically like kind of withdrawing just from yourself to the point where they're looking at it like you're not even giving me any more attention, it's because it's always been one-sided and they were not reciprocating that to you. So they go out there and they do what they do, and then after all of that shit, what are they doing? They're blaming you. They're blaming you for their infidelity. They're blaming you for their going out there, because you know something? No woman is going to want to sit there and admit to herself that I have a problem, let alone I'm a lying, cheating slut. They're not going to do that, guys. They are not going to do that. So what are they going to do? The best thing for them to do, and let me rephrase that. No narcissistic woman. The best thing they're going to do is they're going to blame you. It's easier to blame you, guys. It's easier to sit there and say, well, I slept with all of your friends because, you weren't giving me the attention that I wanted, and they were. And the crazy thing about it, a lot of men, they take that. they take that and they internalize that to the point where they don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel good enough because that has, what is the word, guys? Emasculated them. All of that has emasculated that person, because I'm not a man, but I can guesstimate that if you are dealing with a woman and she chose to cheat on you, she chose to lie to you, she chose to, put you down, she chose to do all of these things because why? She had what? The power of the, okay? She chose to do all of these things. And she's looking at you, and you guys know me, I'm very blunt, I'm very honest, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, okay? And there's a reason for all of this. She looked at you like you were basically a pawn, because that's what you were to her. You were a pawn. Okay. So she managed to erode your self-confidence. She managed to bring down your self-esteem. She managed to make you feel like that, because the one thing you don't do to a man, you don't try to make him feel any less of a man. Okay. You don't do that. All right. Especially if you love the person. Clearly, narcissists, they do not love you. Okay. And clearly, everything they've done in your relationship is not love, was not love. All it was control. Okay. But you don't try to emasculate a man that you love. You don't do that. Okay. We don't do that. As real women, we don't do that. We sit, we talk, we communicate, we address situations, we talk about things. Communication is key in relationships. Okay. A narcissist, on the other hand, is you didn't, I'm going to use this as an example. You didn't, you let's say you constantly bought them flowers. You just always bought them flowers. And 1 week you just decided, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm busy, or I got stuff going on, whatever the case may be. Because they're so spoiled in their nature. They're so spoiled with getting things from you. They're so spoiled with getting attention. They're so spoiled with getting all of these things. The minute you decide not to do it, or that you don't have time to do it, is the minute that they will literally, like, one, that paranoia. Okay. Oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? Who are they doing it with? And two, here's the crazy thing about it, guys. Two, they will cheat on you. They will do all kinds of shit behind your back. They will do everything possible, okay, to keep you down and under in your relationship. And the crazy part about it is that the minute they think, or they get like that paranoia comes in, that they think that you're sleeping around, or you're cheating, or you're dealing with someone else, they're coming at you, and they're coming for your jugular. And a lot of you guys already heard when I told you before, a lot of the time when a narcissist is sitting there accusing you of shit, and they're being very paranoid, and they're just pointing shit at you, and you're like looking at them like, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean? Where is this coming from? It's because they are admitting shit that they are doing. Okay? And it's not because of guilt. It's not because of guilt. It's because of the shame. Remember, they don't feel guilt. They feel shame. Let's see. Hi, Butch. Let's see. Rika, can a narcissist control their behavior if they have no other supply willing to take care of them financially, and the main supply is on the verge of kicking them to the curb with nothing? You know something? That's a very interesting question, Rika. In controlling the behavior, the thing of it is that because this type of these behaviors that they have is pretty much embedded within them, if they are on the verge of losing every bit of supply that they have, where it's like they're losing it from every different angle, controlling their behavior, they can control it. And well, there's two ways this can go. They can basically backtrack and try to give the impression that they'll utilize manipulation. and giving the idea that they are a different type of person. They're no longer the way they used to be. They're no longer like that. Okay? Because with the fear of losing all of their supply, what they're going to try to do, if they don't have a backup plan, that supply that is about to kick them to the curb, okay, that is about to just pretty much kick their ass out the door, they're going to backtrack and they're going to try to make things work. They're going to try to hold on to that because they don't have a backup, because they don't have someone to fall back on. So what they're going to basically do is try to give false promises to the one that's supposed to be kicking them to the curb. They're going to give them false hope. They're just going to basically be like, things can change. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes. They're going to basically try to appease the person. They're going to try to appease the person so that person does not kick them to the curb. They're basically going to, they're going to say and do things that they think the person would want to hear. So that does not happen. If at worst case scenario, a narcissist loses all sense of supply, generally what they will do, and if they have nothing to pull back on, or if they have nothing to grasp onto, because they scramble, but if they don't have anything to grasp onto, then usually what would happen is they go into narcissistic collapse, okay, which is like a very deep depression, so to speak. It's like, that I'm a victim, I'm depressed, I'm hiding from the world, and I'm just they can't handle themselves because they've lost all of their supply. They have no one, because all the people that were involved in that game that they were playing saw right through them, saw everything that they were about. And it's kind of like a hibernation period. They go through that hibernation period. Narcissists, here's the thing. Narcissists, they don't care about people to the point where if they had friends, and if those friends decided to abandon them because they found out about, the narcissist mindset is, I can always make new friends, and they'll go somewhere else and make new friends, or flying monkeys, or manipulate people to be in, their clique or whatever the case may be. It's the same thing with relationships. I can always get a new relationship. But when you're dealing with a narc who's in narcissistic collapse, that's pretty much a point where they are just pretty much hiding from everyone. They're hiding from the world because the victim doesn't want them anymore. The victim is like, oh, fuck yourself. I don't want shit to do with you. No contact. You're on block. Keep it moving. Okay. The supply that they hurt the victim for, okay, because remember, what they'll probably end up trying to do is they'll end up trying to recycle that supply. Remember, they like going back and forth. So if they left you for someone else or for, other people, and then they decided that that supply at that time wasn't satisfying them or wasn't, fulfilling them, then they're going to basically pull back, withdraw from that supply, where depending on how the discard goes, the only reason your discard, if you've gone through an extremely brutal discard, the only reason your discard was so bad was because you were fighting for it. You were fighting for it. Guys, give me 1 second. I had my drink and I ended up leaving it on the table. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try my best to just grab my drink. Okay. Now I have to try to climb back on this bed. Don't make fun of me, please. I have a very high bed. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, your discard was really, really bad. Hi, Magnificent. Welcome, sweetheart. Long time no. Were you here last week with us? It feels like I haven't spoken to you for forever. Your discard was really bad because you were fighting for it. You were fighting to keep the person in your life. You were fighting to, because you invested a lot of time in this person or these people. You invested your emotions, you invested so much. And yeah, I mean, it's only natural that you would want to fight for it. But if the narc decides to discard the other supply, that also depends. It could be bad, like yours, or it could be like whatever. If the narcissist should decide to tell them, well, let's just be friends. You know, I thought I wanted to be in something, and they'll use an excuse. Um, I guess I'm not really ready for a relationship, whatever the case may be. And sometimes the supply that they abandon you for, that they hurt you for, will agree to be friends with them. All right, fine, we'll be friends or whatever. It's not that serious. They left you for superficial bullshit. They left you for people that don't know what kind of person they truly are. And it was just pretty much like a new toy type of thing. But narcissists get so bored easily that the minute they, all right, I got my gratification. Now it's said and done. Now this doesn't do anything for me. And, they're just like kind of peeking back, seeing you trying to climb that mountain to get the hell away from them. You trying to climb that mountain to healing and just to try to, just go about your business and just move on from it. And they see you doing that. And they're kind of like that, like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, get over here. And they're going to try to hoover you back in. They're going to try to hoover you back in, and they're going to try to, use whatever tactics they can use to get you to come back in. A narc is never short of supply. They have a harem ready to pounce onto. And if they are, they'll get it in days. Well, that depends, Chitan. That depends on the kind of narcissist that one is dealing with. Okay. And the reason I say that is because not every narcissist will have the same outcome. Not every narcissist will have the same scenarios, the same situations. The types of narcissists that may have everything easily at like the snap of a finger can be a somatic narcissist, maybe a cerebral narcissist, possibly a malignant narcissist, but not all of them are like that. Not all of them are, running the same course. Not all of them do that. The outcome is, usually the same with each different narc. But when it boils down to your circumstance, the situations, not all of them are the same. And, if you were dealing, let's say, with a somatic narcissist, and let's say Cicely was dealing with a cerebral narcissist, the somatic narcissist clearly wants every and anything that they can get their hands on to, to falsify themselves, to give everybody the impression that, they're the shit. But the cerebral narcissist is more of a mental, game player. It's not even about sex. It's not even about having attention. Believe it or not, a lot of cerebral narcs don't even want to be in the spotlight. They don't want that type of attention. They in the relationship do, but not on a public, like in a public sense, which is why it's important. And I tell you guys, don't categorize everyone under one category, because it's an umbrella, and it when you open that umbrella, it spreads out, and everybody's going to have different types of experiences. Cicely, it's crazy you can't tell who is old supply and new supply with them, or where you rank on the harem, especially female narcs. Well, here's the thing. Female narcs, because they're so covert, okay? You're right about one thing. It's hard to tell. But if you are dealing, well, and this is why I warn people all the time about female narcs. I warn them all the time, because these bitches are making me sick. Pardon the language. But when you're dealing with female narcs, you're dealing with very covert manipulators. Okay? It's hard to tell with them because, They, could have met people online. They could have met people through other, other areas, other places. Maybe, if they went out with their girlfriends, they went to the club, they went to a party, they went, wherever. Okay. Or they went on a girl's trip to wherever. And, yeah, it is hard to tell when it boils down to a lot of you men and females who deal with these women. Oh, hi, Janard. Janard, I hope I'm saying it right. Welcome, sweetheart. It's hard to tell because women are conniving. These types of women are conniving. Listen, I have, and I'm not gonna sit here in front for anybody or lie to anyone. I have the ability, the capability of being a manipulator. I can be conniving. I can, should I choose to do so. And I can be so conniving, I can get away with it. But I choose not to do that because that's not who I am. I don't need to do that, And I also have to set an example for my son. I don't see the need to lie or to sit there and be like, to lie to people is because you really you internally fear something. You fear, like, why do you have to lie to someone? Why do you have to manipulate someone? To it doesn't make sense. But Cicely, I've seen, like, I felt through, watching. It takes me one time to see how a person is, how a person acts, and her behaviors clearly demonstrate, number one, she's trying to hold on to her youth. Okay. And these types of females who try to hold on so hard to their youth will try and do anything to impress people just to stay in, to stay in the it crowd, to basically be part of a group. Like, they will perform, they'll put on the biggest freaking performance just to be noticed, just to be known, instead of just embracing, embracing. But you got to also understand, hun, she's probably had a lot of issues growing up as a child. She's probably had a lot of issues. A lot of female narcissists are the kinds of females that are really more trained by their mothers and emotionally, maybe even physically, abandoned by their fathers. It's a very common thing. Okay. Remember when in my video, daughters of narcissist mothers, their mothers train them to be this way. They train them to, because if you have, granted, I didn't live with my father growing up. He was, in and out. I visited him as often as I possibly could. And my mom raised us, by herself. She raised 4 kids. But it's crazy because, me and my mom are we're two different types. My mom is, we're like oil and water. I don't always agree with my mother. I agree with her to certain, on certain things to certain extents. But when I was younger, I guess because I felt obligated, because I'm young, I can't fend for myself. But the minute when I got older, that I became more independent in life, I really saw myself just going in a different direction. Like, I was very moral. I was very ethical. I was very, I wrong is wrong, right is right. Female narcissists are the kinds of females that are, it's crazy. They have projection, and in a sense, their projection, their mothers project onto them, but with that same breath, they strip them. They strip them of their identity. They strip them of their innocence. They strip them of any kind of emotional bonding. Usually I would strongly advise people, look at the relationship of the person that you're with or you were with. You have to look closely at the relationship that they have with their parents. You have to look at that. A lot of female narcissists, guys, okay? Female narcs, they are the way they are because of their mothers. Okay? It's because of their mothers. And when it boils down to it, they probably had a very bitter mother who, who was screw the world. I'm about myself. I'm about getting this money. And you could use people to get what it is that you need to get, because nobody's going to do for you in life. Nobody's going to care about you. Nobody's going to, everybody's going to abandon you. Everyone's going to leave you. And, and as she's projecting this all onto her child, she's also putting that wedge between herself and her child, because she was raised to believe that having a social kind of distance, not social, an emotional distance is better. Narcissists are avoidance, guys. They are emotionally avoidant, emotionally detached. Okay. And if you really want to go deeper into it, narcissists, they have no quarrels with abandoning their own children. They'll abandon their own kids. Okay, so if they're willing to do that to their own kids, just imagine the kind of person you were dealing with. Okay, let's see. Chatan. Mine had a harem full of admirers with whom I was compared and triangulated time after time. It was vicious, and I used to feel devastated. I listen, people often feel devastated. You feel hurt, you feel pain, you feel, you just internalize so much because you don't realize what's going on. You don't understand what's going on. And you were hit with a ton of bricks. You're like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what could I have possibly done to you for not only to be treated this way, but you're acting like a damn clown. What did I do? If you knew then what you know now, everything, do you think you would still be devastated? Do you think that you would still feel that pain and that hurt? Hi, Hello Kitty. Do you think you would feel those things? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't, because now you have acknowledgement. Now you know what's going on. If you knew everything that you know now, which is why they try to keep you in the fog, which is why they still try to keep you around. They don't want to get rid of you completely. They still want to throw you some breadcrumbs. They still want to keep that little crack of the door open. They still want all of these things. They'll continue to deny. They'll continue to tell you that you're crazy. They'll continue telling that you're seeing things. They'll continue to do every and anything possible to keep you right there in that position where they left you. That's what they're going to do. They're going to continue doing that. So you are not aware of what's going on. So you cannot really see them for who they truly are. And when the time comes, they can come back to you and do it all over again. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just go through some of the comments, and then we're going to go into the other type of narcissist when it comes to sex. Magnificent. It's all about the illusion of inclusion. Fake it till they make it to new supply. Exactly. It's just basically giving, just like what Magnificent said, it's giving that illusion. It's just, showing the world someone that they're not. That's what it is. They're basically trying to impress other people. They're trying to be a part of something because, all the world loves a show, right, guys? Everybody loves a show. Everybody loves drama. Everybody loves, people who act like clowns. Everybody loves going to social media. What do you see? You either see makeup videos, you're seeing skits by entertainers, okay? You're seeing TikTok videos, you're seeing all kinds of stuff. All the world loves a show. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And they need to fit in. Somatic narcissists, they go to the extremes. They do the extremes to try to fit in. So if they're getting older, you will catch these types of narcs in the gym constantly. You will catch them, dressing for lack of a better term, younger. You'll catch them dressing that way. Okay. You will see, like, I can't tell you how many times, and no, I'm not going to call them out, but I can't tell you how many times I've come across people that I could just clearly like see and feel and understand the narcissism. Am I calling them a narcissist? No, because they could just be narcissistic. But I've seen plenty of people who are attention seekers. I've seen plenty of people who have, sat there just like trying to gain the attention of so many different people. And then when they get the wrong kind of attention, what do they want to do? They want to grab their flying monkeys and start targeting people. Okay. And I, like I said, I don't call people out, because as long as they're not saying anything to me and they're not trying to hinder what I'm trying to do or what I got going on, because y'all know me, I got my mouth and I will not keep it shut for anybody. But in the end, with everything that you learn, a lot of different red flags, a lot of different people you're gonna start seeing, because what the blind eye could not see, now that you're learning and now that you're educating yourselves and you're taking the time to understand, you're gonna start seeing a lot. You're just gonna start seeing so much. I got to a point where I don't even go on social media like that as much. I don't, like, it's like, all right, I come on for my lives. I make sure I keep my YouTube updated. I make sure, I try to keep up with my Facebook, on the channel part. But when it comes on to like my own personal social media, it's like, it's not of that much importance. And, unless it's pertaining to the channel or it's pertaining to, information that I feel is important for you guys. But other than that, you just start noticing different people and you start noticing different things, and you're just like, really? Like, you're doing that? I don't judge people. I mean, everybody to each their own, but to me, it's just like, it's not necessary. It really isn't. Rika, do narcs really believe they are in love from their understanding, or they know they don't love anyone? I think that they idealize. I think that's what they do. They more idealize. Like, they were never taught how to love. They weren't taught how to be loved properly. Okay. Which is the reason why they are very detached in that sense. I don't think they understand or they can properly interpret, what we perceive as love, or what we know to be love. Because narcissists, they don't carry empathy. Not that they're not capable of it, because they are completely capable of it. But when you have someone who has had certain programming ingrained in their mind, it's kind of hard to, which can happen to any one of us. It's kind of hard to break out of that. It's hard to break out of that. I think, truthfully, I think that they are well aware that there is something dysfunctional with them, but they won't admit that to you or anyone for that matter. They know that they have dysfunctions. They know that something is not right with them, but they kind of push it to the back of their head. This way has gotten me the things that I wanted. This way has gotten me, because here's the thing. A lot of victims were either scared, ashamed, or didn't or felt like they would be betraying the narcissist if they came forward. If they came forward and exposed the narcissist. So instead of saying to themselves, something's not right, I need to work on myself, I need to get therapy, I need to get help, there's something wrong with me, I need to figure out what is wrong with me. And because couple that with because victims were not coming forward. They were not trying to expose these kind of people. Narcissism isn't just something that happened last year. This is something that's been going on for years. We're talking way back when, not even back in the 1990s. Okay. It was going back to the Roman times. Okay. Like, that's how far back it was going. But they basically managed to get away with so much of the manipulation, of the abuse. Why change something or why fix something if it ain't broke? That's their mentality. Why fix something if it ain't broke? Why should I get help for something when there's nothing wrong with me? Because they don't interpret their idea of love, one, is not their idea. Okay, they probably stole it from someone else. I'm just saying. Their idea of love is stuff that they've learned manually. It's stuff that they've learned, through textbooks or through watching other people, through studying other people, okay? Or even maybe studying old partners, seeing what old partners did. And they utilize that up here. When you love, what are you using? You're using your heart, right? When they love, they're not using their heart. They're using their brain. They're using their wheels are turning up here, because they have to show you what you want to see. They have to tell you what you want to hear, because their form of love from their parents was transactional. Okay? That's why they treat people the way they do when it boils down to relationships. If their mom, if their dad, maybe both their parents were narcs, or maybe they, just one parent was, or one parent was just extremely detached emotionally. It's transactional love. Mom says, well, you have to do for me. And if you do for me, then I'm going to show you love. So because the child wants to feel validated, wants to feel love, wants to have a close connection with their mom, they do what the mom says. If the mom is satisfied, the mother will then accommodate the child. So it's pretty much do for me and then I do for you. Okay? You have to earn. You have to earn my love. That's the relationship between the parent and the child. Okay? It's not love that's given freely. It's not something that was pretty much just handed to the child. That's how they learned how to coexist with, with someone outside of themselves. And because their parents did this, or their caregivers, whoever raised them, this pushes the child into survival mode. It pushes the child into being self-sufficient, because the parents have constantly let them down. The parents have constantly disappointed them. And if the child did not, take care of the mother or the father or both's needs, they would basically be reprimanded for it. They would basically, be torn down. Okay. You're dealing with people, guys, who have been torn down by other people, who have been, we don't make excuses. I always say this, guys, we never make excuses for their behaviors. But if you want to know the psychology behind it, you're dealing with people who have been completely torn down and emasculated. Okay? Male and female have been emasculated by the people that was supposed to teach them everything that you and I possess now. Empathy, sympathy, emotions, love. Okay? All of the different things that all of us in this room are feeling. All of us have the capability, because we choose not to be like that. That is what their parents were supposed to teach them. And because vulnerability in the household was seen as being a weakness, they pretty much turned to stone. And they were emotionally unavailable, emotionally detached. very guarded, very paranoid, very untrusting. They don't trust anybody for the life of them. And because, they allow their paranoias and their issues to get in the way of things, they end up doing a lot of really screwy, messed up things to very innocent people, excuse me, who have had nothing but the best intentions for them. So they end up screwing themselves out on really good relationships and really good dynamics with really good people. Yes, magnificent. All impulse, instant gratification. Shall 5 years free from the narc. That's awesome. Very, very awesome. Rika, why would a narc stay with someone for long periods of time if they're supposed to get bored and leave? Why do they stay with the same person for 10 plus years and cheat but never leave? Because they're getting their cake and eating it too. That's why. They're getting their cake and eating it too. So if you have a narcissist who stays with someone based on financial reasons, but they're sexually involved with someone else, they're pretty much getting everything that they want from a number of people. They're staying with this person because for whatever their reasons are. It could be you're putting a roof over their head. It can be that you're financially supporting them. It could be a number of things. But if they can get their cake and eat it too, why not? That's their thing. So because this person was clearly getting some on the side and and being involved, being in the dynamic, all this time, and unfortunately it's sad because you try to sit there wondering, because you do take that in. You take all of that in, where it's like, you're here. Why are you still here then? Why are you still here if you're bored or whatever the case? Because sometimes a narcissist may be in a very bad position, or they may be put in a bad position if they do leave. So they figure, well, I can't leave physically, but I'll get I'll have my cake and eat it too. And when it boils down to getting bored easily, again, it depends on the circumstance. Because if they had the means to leave, or if they felt that, if they felt like, I can get up and leave anytime, I can go and do me, I don't need you anymore, they probably would have left. They probably would have, if they had the means to do so. But because there's something that was balancing all of that out for them, that's why they did it. That's what I'm guessing, because there has to be something that's keeping them there. Chatan, Erica, my ex-narc used to tell me that sharing a bed with a guy doesn't mean I'm having sex. It's not cheating. I used to be shocked. What the hell is she talking about? Well, sharing a bed with a guy doesn't mean I'm having sex. That is true. That is true. Sharing a bed with someone does not mean you're having sex. Okay? And we're talking in general. Does not mean you're having sex. However, a narcissist sharing a bed with someone other than their partner, again, let me clarify. Let me clarify this first. Sharing a bed with someone else does not mean you're having sex, although you should not be sharing a bed with someone else when you're in a relationship. Okay? I don't care if it's a guy friend. I don't care, I don't listen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting my my charger. You guys know me. I have so many issues when it boils down to my freaking phone. And I tried to charge it when I got home, but me, I was running around doing all types of stuff. So I'm gonna charge it now. But yeah, you shouldn't be sharing a bed with somebody if you're in a relationship with someone else. You should not be doing that. Okay? So technically sharing a bed with someone does not mean you're sleeping with them, does not mean you're having sex with them. But what the hell are you doing sharing a bed with another man and you're in a relationship? So that don't sound right to me. That don't. She's full of shit. And at the end of the day, imagine if it had been you doing it to her. You were sharing a bed with another woman. I don't think she'd really happy about that. Butch, I just don't understand. Sorry. Is it possible to be an empath with narcissistic traits? But don't we have narcissistic traits? Okay. We are all, guys, all of us, you, me, Amanda, okay, Cicely, Butch, Chatan, all of you, all of us, we are all capable of having narcissistic traits, okay? In fact, we all have doses of narcissism. We do, okay? We all do, all right? I'm not calling you guys out, so don't think that, but we all do. We have doses of narcissism. But there is a clear-cut difference between having the doses of narcissism that we have, which are healthy doses, and someone who is full-blown on the spectrum. But to answer your question, yes, it is possible, because there are instances where you can be narcissistic, even if it's for a split second. That is possible. It is possible. One prime example of it is you're in a new relationship with someone, and you know you know how it is, guys. When you get into a new relationship, you get involved, you kind of like, you're all about your relationship, right? You know, you're about your relationship. You guys are constantly on each other, and you know, you're just basically so deeply involved with each other, that's pretty much kind of like that new car smell. It's like that new relationship thing. And you know, you're putting up pictures, you're doing whatever, you're talking to your friends about it. It's like, you know, everything's about your relationship. That's a narcissistic moment. It's a narcissistic moment, you know, to the point where it's like, okay, your friends are like, all right, it's cool. You have a relationship, but you know, there are other stuff going on in the world, and you know, we have our stuff that we need to talk about. So even if you're kind of like taking over the scene for like, you know, 5 minutes, that's a narcissistic moment. Believe that or not. That's a narc moment. But the levels of narcissism that a narcissist has, a pathological narcissist, way beyond it. Way beyond it. Okay? We are capable of being narcissistic. We are capable of being, you know, having certain narcissistic traits and tendencies and things like that. As long as we check ourselves. Okay? I don't care if you got to do a daily checklist or a weekly one at that. Check yourself. And if you check yourself, you won't wreck yourself, right? Narcissists do not check themselves. They walk out their doors being twats and assholes and do not care about it. Do not care. They don't care. They don't care what you think. They don't care. Well, they don't care what you think because you're actually the victim going survivor. Okay, so they do kind of look back at it and like, you know, because you have the ability and the power to expose these people. But when it boils down to other people, it's pretty much, this is my, you know, this is my demeanor. This is who I am. Take me or leave me. And that's it. When a narcissist feels that a person is weak, those are the kind of people that they go for. They go for people that they feel are weak-minded, low self-esteem, you know, no type of confidence, but you look good. Okay? You notice that? You can look really good. You can look good to the point that you're making them look good, but you don't have self-esteem. You don't have confidence. Okay? You are pretty much at the mercy of the narcissist. That's how they want you. That's how they want you, guys. Don't give it to them. Don't do it. Hi, Heather. Hi, Tad. Go ahead, Tad. Ask away. Hi, Stephen. Um. Okay. Butch, it used to bother me when we would go out and handle our affairs, or eat or socialize. I would always catch her staring at me, and I feel like I'd be doing something wrong. I've been there. I've been there. Oh, I've been there. Okay, I've been there, Butch. Um, a lot of the time they're staring because they're trying to read. They're trying to read you. I think they at most time they're trying to, trying to guess what you're thinking. Um, or it could be with suspicion, especially if they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. They might be looking at you like, what are you doing? I know I'm doing this, but what are you doing? Well, if you know what you're doing, don't fucking worry about what I'm doing, you know? But I mean, in the end of the day, Butch, you could have, you could have been completely and utterly innocent and nothing going on. And it's just their paranoia and their mind playing tricks on them. And it wouldn't have mattered because at the end, even if they were out doing their dirt, they're still gonna blame it on you. They're gonna blame it on you. They're gonna blame all their bull crap on you. Yeah, you can email me. Amanda put the email address. And also under my videos, you'll see the email address. But guys, now the other thing I wanted to talk about was the opposite of the hypersexual narcissist. So the hypersexual narcissist, we know they use their body, they use their sexual nature to get what it is they want, to basically control your relationships, to basically dominate you, to dominate other people. The other type of narcissist that you may also deal with, okay? And of course, I'm guessing I have to look into it when it boils down to females, but we'll just put them in the same category. It's probably common with men. Narcissism has been linked to and just remember, hypersexual narcissists can be men or women, guys. Okay, I only use the woman as an example, but it can be either or, and for the same reasons. Narcissism has also been linked to erectile dysfunction. So if you've ever dealt with someone who is a narcissist, who's clearly extremely narcissistic, and they were not sexually attuned, they were not performing, or their performance was, I'm going to use, for lack of a better word, mediocre. Okay. Or they're just basically not very sexual. They weren't very sexual, and it seemed like in your relationship, when it boiled down to sex, it was more of a task. Like if you wanted to have sex but the person was clearly dealing with some form of a dysfunction, they would make excuses, or they would do other things that would kind of maneuver around the intimacy, the physical intimacy part of the relationship. It's clearly associated with erectile dysfunction. Okay, and this is more common with men who are narcissists. Okay, now women can be the same thing. I just don't know what the proper term for it is, so if you guys know, please put it there. I mean, I'm clearly women who are not, who are narcissists, that are not hypersexual narcissists. They don't suffer erectile dysfunction, because that's not something that women would suffer. But I'm pretty sure there is another medical terminology for it. So if you know it, or if you find out, please just put it in there. But narcissism has been linked with erectile dysfunction. And of course, we know that erectile dysfunction is the inability to gain an erection. Now, a lot of narcissists suffer from this particular dysfunction because of the constant emasculation that had gone on throughout their lives. Not to be confused with someone who is just suffering erectile dysfunction, but it's linked to narcissists, a lot of narcissists who have performance problems when dealing, when dealing with the physical aspect of the relationship. Now, if you, for example, ladies, or I mean, listen, to each their own, but I gotta say too, men, if you're dealing with a guy who suffered from it, and if you in most cases, here's what a lot of them will do, because they'll try to deflect their dysfunctions. They'll try to deflect the true nature, the true core of their dysfunction. They'll try to deflect it onto their partner. If or when they suffer this type of dysfunction, I mean, clearly, if they're in a relationship with you, you'll notice that they will be more into pornography as opposed to having physical sex. Okay. And this is because throughout the years, again, because of emasculation, they have been so emasculated throughout their lives that the stressors behind that, because you got to think about it this way, guys. I don't know what it is to be a man. I don't know what it is to have a penis. I don't, clearly. But if a man has been completely emasculated, completely devoid of any type of masculinity, they will have issues with that area. Okay. There will be a lot of issues with that area. And that's because they've internalized that type of abuse, because to emasculate someone, you are abusing them. Believe it or not, if you emasculate someone, you are being abusive towards someone. So with the amount of emasculation that a narcissist, or even a victim, okay, even a regular victim, we're talking a non-narcissist victim, with the amount of emasculation that has been passed on to the individual, their forms of performance does not necessarily work in the bedroom. This is why I say not every narcissist cheats physically. Okay, not every narcissist cheats physically, especially if you are dealing with one who suffers erectile dysfunction, because it's pretty much, listen, if you're dealing with someone who has this type of dysfunction, or you dealt with someone who did, and you never judged them on it, okay, and you pretty much just kind of, you stuck it through with them, the chances of them cheating on you with someone else and running the risk of someone else not being so kind about this particular dysfunction, they're not going to risk that. They're not going to risk it. Okay. They may cheat on you in the sense of gaining attention from somewhere else, gaining some form of ego strokes from somewhere else, or just pretty much just getting what they can outside of the relationship. A lot of the time, if you're dealing with narcissists who suffer from this dysfunction, more than likely will just utilize pornography. And you do have narcissists who utilize pornography to pretty much, it's crazy. They use pornography to erode their partner's self-esteem, because they're idealizing the actors or the actresses in these particular types of films, videos, what have you. They're idealizing these scenarios, and they're kind of forcing that onto their partner. So they're basically showing their partner that this turns me on more than you do. A lot of the time, it's really because they have certain types of dysfunctions, and because they can't handle their dysfunctions, they cannot handle the idea of coming to terms with their dysfunctions. It's like that whole deflection, that blame, the shifting the blame of, well, I have a dysfunction, I hate myself for it, I can't deal with it, so it's that misery loves company, I'm going to bring you down with it. I don't understand that, especially if you've stayed in a relationship with them and you've maintained that relationship with them for a very long time. But they have researchers, doctors, psychiatrists, studies have linked narcissism and erectile dysfunction. So ladies, if you ladies dealt with a man who was a narcissist, who maybe had these issues, 9 out of 10 times, that person probably, I'm not saying definitely, probably did not cheat on you physically with someone else. They may have cheated on you emotionally with someone else, superficially with someone else, you know, just to kind of get those ego strokes, just to kind of get that stuff coming in, you know, all of that, the high praise and all that stuff. But it's too much of a risk to cheat when they suffer with this type of dysfunction, to cheat with another person who might not be as accepting with their problem as you had been, or you have been. But I can only speak for myself, but I only suffer erectile dysfunctions during April 1st to the 14th when I do my tax. But Butch says, I can only speak for myself, but I only suffer erectile dysfunction during April 1st to the 14th when I do my taxes. Too bad I can't write narcissistic abuse up, but I'm done with you. I am so done with you, dude. I'm so done. And they've actually they've extended the deadline till May. So just in case if you wanted to know. You're hilarious, dude. You are hilarious. Cicely, what's up with kissing? In the beginning, they asked for it all the time, but not one kiss, barely a hug the last few months. Well, it's again, it's part of the whole love bombing thing, you know. It's when you're dealing with someone who clearly has an agenda, okay? You're dealing with someone who has motives, they have an agenda. They're focused on their primal target, okay? And then once that's done and they've managed to get you in their web, they've managed to get you in their, you know, in their trauma bond, in their soul tie, why would they? And again, I'm not saying it directly to you to be like, you know, a smart biatch about it, but that's what their idea is. Why would I have to continue to try to impress you and try to do all of these things when I already got you? I already got you where I want you. I already got you where I need you. So why should I even remotely do anything further? If you notice in the beginning of your relationships, guys, they were like, it seemed 50-50, right? That's because that was a show. It was a facade. They're basically doing what they have to do to get you in. But over time, you'll notice that it was shifting. The 50-50 started to turn to 60-40, then 70-30, then 80-20, until the point where it got to 90-10, and maybe even 95-5. Over time, that shit started going downhill. Because narcissists are not the kind of people who have long-lasting relationships. 2, they don't really have intentions on you being around that long. They really don't. They, you know, they have intentions. It's kind of like when they say, well, you shouldn't put a date or time frame on something, or you shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't. They're more about living in the moment. How many of you are familiar with that? I'm living for the moment. It's all about the moment. Let's not talk about the future. We've only been together 5-10 years. Let's not talk about the future. You know, that's the way they are. Okay. If you lasted for a long period of time with a narcissist, they were not expecting that. Their relationships are very limited. A lot of the time, their relationships are very superficial. And we're not just talking romantic, we're talking friends, family, you know, we're talking different types of people come and go. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is. They have no intention on having anything longer than what they deem is an ample amount of time, and then boom, on to the next. Unfortunately, that's how they yeah, that's how they are. Well, yeah, Chatan says, Cicely, it happens as a discard phase. It when it's near. It even happened to me. See, they've always been emotionally detached, guys. They've always been emotionally detached, emotionally unavailable, which is why during the relationship, you didn't realize it then. But if you notice, you've been doing a lot of the work. You've been doing a lot of the work, the emotional part of the work. You've been doing, like, you've been holding most of the weight of your relationship emotionally, mentally, physically, maybe, materialistically. And that's because they don't know how to sustain emotions. They really don't. So, them not doing the things that they once did, um, yeah, I mean, part of it is you're seeing clearly their true colors. But just like Chatan says, when you start noticing that they're detaching, they are becoming more distant. They're pushing you, like they're keeping you at arm's length. Or if you try to talk to them about what's wrong in your relationship, what it's lacking, you're just trying to communicate with them. They're gonna be very like super freaking sensitive. They're gonna come off that way. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say I'm not being a good enough woman to you? Are you trying to say this? Are you trying to say that? Because they love to start arguments. They love to give a reason as to why they are going to do, or they're on the brink of doing what it is that they're going to do. I mean, listen, when my discard came, I tried communicating. I tried talking to the person. I tried letting the person know how I felt. I sat there and said, "Listen, can we talk? Like, we need to talk, you know." And I brought up, like, emotionally, are we back? We're not balanced. We're not, something's not right. I don't know why the hell I did that, because I ended up getting, yelled at. I ended up getting like, it just, like, the person was offended. And I'm like, let's just say that was a conversation where I ended up apologizing. I ended up apologizing for telling the person how I felt, telling the person that, listen, we're having issues and we need to talk. And that was a clear cut sign. It should have been for me. That was a clear cut sign that the person had no interest in making things work, because nothing had changed, had no interest in doing anything. And there was a conversation that I had with the person that, I mean, I won't say what the nature of the conversation was, but I will say this: that conversation, I believe, triggered that person, really triggered that person, and got the person to thinking that, well, Shorty's gonna leave me, and I gotta leave her before she does me, because I'm not letting anybody do me dirty. Like, that was the impression I got. And it's crazy how misunderstandings and misinterpretations it can do a lot of damage, guys. It really, really can do a lot of damage. It can be a blessing, but it can do a lot of damage too. Rika, what's the dynamic between a narcissist and their side piece? It's true that the main supply is treated worse. Do they abuse the side pieces, or only the main supply abused terribly? Well, the thing of it is, the side piece, I mean, the person that they're cheating with clearly is probably going to get the like the what's the word for it, the better side of the narcissist. There's a reason why that person is a side piece. They are the escape. The escape. that the narcissist needs from their main supply. Which brings me back to, if the main supply is I don't know, like if the main supply is in the narcissist's eyes too demanding. So it's like, if if you're the main supply and you're making suggestions, or you're making requests. A request to a narcissist is a demand. Okay. Telling them how you feel to a narcissist is a sign of you trying to control them. Telling them what you will and will not put up with to a narcissist is you trying to fight with them, you trying to argue with them. Telling the narcissist the truth about themselves to them is you are insulting them. Okay? What you say and how the narcissist hears it, two different things, guys. Two different things. Okay? What you say and how they interpret it are two totally different things. They will twist everything around. I wouldn't be surprised if you notice a lot of people, when they cheat, they tell the other person, my husband doesn't understand me, my wife doesn't understand me, but it's so miserable. We're not, we're not doing X, Y, and Z. Then we're not making love. We're not doing this. We're not doing that, and all that bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And you know how it goes. They're feeding the other person lies. They're feeding the other person whatever it is that they got to feed them to convince that person to mess around with them. So that's why a lot of side pieces, a lot of chicks or dudes feel in a way kind of like validated, and like they're a hero. Like they're the hero. Well, he wasn't happy with you. You weren't doing your job as a woman. So it took me to do it, and I did what I had to do. It's bullshit like that. It's stuff like that. You got to remember also, the narcissist is one who lives a double life. They're living a double life. They got a side piece and they got the main supply at home. So they're clearly going back home, telling the main supply one thing, but they're telling the side piece another thing. So when it boils down to who gets treated better, I think it really boils down to who's stroking their ego better. Okay? That's what it boils down to. This card phase is all about arguments for every single reason. I felt like, why did you even sneeze? I was scared to even talk about normal stuff. She even got violent. Yeah, that, I think it's when you find yourself like just walking on eggshells. You can't be yourself. You can't say anything because you're afraid you're going to rock the boat. You can't tell them something because you're afraid that it's going to spark something else. I don't want to get you angry. I don't want to get you pissed off. And that's why they look at you as weak, because you are trying to not tip it over. You're not, you're trying not to be the aggressor. You're trying to be the, I don't want no problems. I don't want, I don't want any problems. I don't want any headaches. You were just trying to be in a peaceful state of mind. And clearly, if their mind is disturbed, or if their mind is not in peace, then your mind will not be in peace. One second, guys. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just looking at. All right, so I answered that one. Yeah, Rika, during the discard, anything you say will be twisted. And if you remain silent out of fear, what you will say, even that is a problem. They are sick. And this is why I encourage people to not be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak your mind, because at the end of the day, these people can only hold up a mask for so long. They can only hold up a mask for so long. Listen, when I talk about my experience, I clearly use my experience to help other people out. Okay. I use my experience to help others and letting them know, one, I understand. I understand how you're feeling. I understand what you're going through. Two, you're not alone on the state of mind you have. You're not alone in what has happened. And these are the steps that I took to get myself out of it. Okay. I open my mouth because, it's to help other people. I'm not opening my mouth to hurt him. I do not look for that man. I do not bother with that man. I do not go on his social media. Hell, I don't even go on his BM social media. Okay. And as much as I'm pretty sure as people are lurking on my shit, at the end of the day, they can keep looking because I'm still standing tall. I'm still doing what I got to do. Okay. I don't, I encourage survivors to talk about it, to open up, because when you talk about it and you open up about it, it encourages other people to talk up and open up, and other people to the point where we're having a whole festival of exposing these types of people so people can become aware. What we are doing is not shaming people. What we are doing is not hurting people. We are creating awareness. That's what we're doing. And we are warning people the signs, the tactics, the different phrases, everything that they will say, everything that they will do, every low level that they will stoop to. We are warning people. And that's how you create awareness. That's how you manage to, word them out, because then you're moving it along. You're sharing the information, you're moving it to the next person who needs it, and that person is going to move it to the next person, and so forth and so on. That is what we are doing. I personally do not need to hurt anyone. I don't need to hurt anyone's reputation. First of all, they don't have reputations for me to hurt. Everything was a bold-faced lie. And in the end, if they want to walk around, listen, if they want to walk around and say, negative things about me, if they want, I personally don't care. I really don't care. Okay. People thought that they could read me. And the reality is they took my kindness for weakness. And that's the reality with you guys too. They took your kindness for weakness. They basically looked at it as your vulnerability is a weakness. And they were taught that being vulnerable is a weakness. It's not a weakness. Okay. You don't have to you don't have to turn to stone. You don't have to be a cold-hearted person. You don't have to be devious. You don't have to be any of those things. You don't have to be like the people who have attempted to break you. But how can someone who has never made you, does not know what you are made of, how can they break you? They can't. They can't. You have to continue doing what's best for you. Talking about it is best for you. It's best for you because it helps you to process everything. It helps you to process your feelings, your traumas, your emotions, your triggers. Talk about it. And the problem that a lot of people have faced, that I noticed, and I've been there too, that I'm sure a lot of you have gone through, is that the people, I'm not saying your friends ain't shit. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that people who are in your circle ain't shit. But let's be realistic here for a second. Okay? Other people who are survivors of narcissistic abuse will understand you better and understand you more, as well as be extra supportive of you in this journey than people who have not endured what you have gone through. So if you have friends that are like, damn, you still on it? Damn, you still talking about it? You will not get that here. You will not get that here. You will, whatever questions you have, you will always get an answer. If I don't get a chance to answer it, you have other survivors who will. People who do not understand what you've endured, what you're going through, what you're currently feeling right now, they're not going to understand. They're just basically going to look at you like, okay, it's been 6 months. Why are you still on this? Those are the kind of people, like I said, I'm not saying they ain't shit, but what I'm saying is Would you bring your refrigerator to a car shop if it needed to be fixed? No, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't take your refrigerator to a freaking Amco to have it's not going to work, right? That's the same situation in what it is you're dealing with. You have your friends, great. You have people who support you, that's awesome. But in the end, the minute you start hearing, oh, you're still talking about this, you're still on this, but it's already been 3 months, but it's been this, but it's been that. I strongly suggest, and I'm not saying you got to cut people off, but I strongly suggest you distance yourself from people like that until you have gone through your healing properly, until you have reached the point where you no longer want to talk about it. You no longer want to, be a part of it. You no longer want to, you're basically moved on. You basically let go, you've moved on. But until then, if you want to continue talking about it, if you want to continue asking questions, if you want to know certain things, here, you will not hear that. You will not hear that. Okay? And with that same breath, if you ask me questions, guys, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very, very brutally honest with you because that is what you need. That's what you need. I'm going to be nice about it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to be honest about it because it's something that was stripped from you. It was stripped from you, and it was not given to you from the very beginning of your relationship. And at the end, even though you feel like you may want to give up, you feel like you just don't know, you feel like you don't understand, reach out to me. I told you guys, reach out to me. Send me an email, shoot me a message, and reach out. I've had plenty of people who have hit me up, who have messaged me and got stuck, have relapsed, have just gotten confused. The narcissist tried to hoover them. The narcissist reached out. The narcissist contacted them, and they felt confident enough to reach out to me because they knew that I was going to tell them the truth. And I was going to tell them what they needed to hear so they had that confidence to say, I'm not answering you. I'm not dealing with you. I know where I'm at. Because I did not have that. I did not have any of that. I had to learn all of this on my own. Everything on my own, guys. Did not have anybody to really support me. Did not have anybody to really be there for me the way I needed it. Okay. And maybe that's a reason. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it was something that God wanted me to do on my own, Get rid of codependency by being dependent on yourself, Erica. And that way you can, I don't know, be the stepping stone for other people. Maybe that was what it was. Either way, I embraced the experience. I went through it, and here we are. Here we are. One more question. Do you think they use protection when with others? That's more of a 50-50. That's kind of a 50-50. You do have a narcissist. That's a little weird. Narcissists are known to being very OCD-ish, very particular, very that it's just like part of their nature. If I had to guess, maybe the malignant narcissist, the somatic narcissist, maybe they are more prone to not, especially if they're trying to trap someone, because narcissists do tend to try to trap people. They'll try to trap someone by means of getting pregnant or getting someone impregnated. They are very irresponsible people. So I think on that scale, it's probably 50-50. It's probably where, some do and some don't. depending on what their whole motive is. Okay, you do have narcissistic females who will try to trap a man by getting pregnant. If that person has money and that female can be well off, of course they're not going to want to use it. You have some that are very particular, and they're just like, they may have like an internal fear of things, so they're not taking chances, and they'll use it. That is, it's to me, I think it's 50-50. I think it is 50-50 with that. Okay, so the last is, I noticed narcs have some friends, family, or acquaintances that they will never show that side of themselves. To what kind of people do the narcs pick as people that they will never show? Well, they're very particular because remember, they if they're wearing a false mask, they can't show everybody that side of themselves. They can't show everybody, so it's pretty much people who matter to them, the people that they're trying to impress, they're really not going to see that side of them. But the people who they really aren't anything to the narcissist, they don't care. They don't care about showing that side of themselves. They do have an image to uphold. They have an image to maintain. So they do have certain people in certain groups, whom have a certain level of importance and who doesn't. All right. And the ones who have a level of importance, they have to uphold that image because that can gravely affect their image. But again, this is all in the eyes of the narcissist. The narcissist decides who is important and who isn't, and they can switch it around. So it's not like it's just a set of people. It just varies. It varies from person to person, but does not mean that they're not incapable of unraveling, unmasking in front of their friends. But a lot of the time, narcissists, they really, if they are, like if they do have friends, if you're dealing with someone who's a narcissist, chances are they're not genuine friends. They're probably enablers. They're probably people who they have in their environment, who they have in their group, in their clique, that enable them, that stroke their egos, that boost their ego, but they're not very genuine friends. It's either that or these are people, a group of other people who are just as manipulative, and they're pretty much other narcs or just other manipulators in general, and each of them enable each other's behaviors. So either way, when it boils down to that they won't act a certain way in front of certain people, it's because they're trying to preserve their image in front of these people in particular. And of course, there is a reason behind that. There is a reason behind it, guys. So guys, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. But just to clearly, just to understand, you have hypersexual narcs, guys, and you have not so hypersexual narcs, who are the ones that are pretty much just about the mind games. They're about, just really, they have such low self-esteem because of their dysfunctions that they will try to minimize yours to bring you down to their level. Okay. And in the end, the way I see it is this. What did I say in my video earlier? 7 billion people on this planet. 7 billion people on this planet, guys. We do not need to be worried about these people who are struggling just to manage to keep at least 3 genuine people in their life, let alone 7 billion. Like, seriously. These people are not worth it, guys. They're really not worth it. They're not worth the anger. They're not worth the pain. They're not worth the sorrow. They're not worth any of those things. And a lot of you I know are new. A lot of you I know are just going through the motions. So just keep in mind, you will get through it. Keep in mind that, pain is temporary. It's not a forever thing. Okay. You have so many more lessons that you need to learn in this lifetime. And you know, God's working on you. He's working on you and he's working through you. You're welcome, Cicely. You're welcome, sweetheart. All right. So just remember, you know, and if ever you feel discouraged, if ever you feel that you're not sure, you know, if you need a reminder, hey, check out some of my videos. Check out the old videos, you know, yeah, oh my God, I have so many of them. But, you know, just keep in mind, guys, that all of this is done with love. All of this is done with good intentions. And all of this is done with, you know, with the intention of helping you move on to the next stage. Okay? It's Narc Survival 101, guys. That's the point of the channel. It's to help you learn what you need to learn so it can help direct you, or, you know, just kind of give you that shove, you know, back into normality, back into having a healthy life, and maintaining that, sustaining that, and not letting other people interfere with that. All right, you guys deserve so much more than that. You really, really do. Okay, so guys, oh, I love being here with you guys. I love seeing you guys. I love seeing interactions. I love it all. You know how I get. Try not to get too emotional with it, but it's about that time for Big Mama to start getting ready for bed. So guys, I thank you so much for being here tonight. For all those who could not make it, you will catch it on the stream. Please be sure to, if I left anything out, leave a comment in the comment section. You know, plenty of people need to hear it. Definitely check out, of course, again, the video from Testimonial Thursday that I've done for last week. I want to do my next testimonial. It is supposed to be with the gentleman. I'm going to reach out to him because he emailed me, and hopes that I can maybe have, probably not this week, but for next week, have another testimonial, because I really, really definitely want to do a testimonial video with, you know, with a man, so he can give his point of view. And of course, if you are interested, if you've gone through, you know, ample time through your healing and you are interested in talking about it, and you may want to do a video, then please shoot me an email and we can, you know, we can discuss all the particulars. All right, guys. So I am so done for tonight. I really am. Also, I did upload a video earlier this morning on why victims tend, you know, often return back to the narcissist. So if you know, are a new victim, you just gone through a discard and you're, you know, just learning about it, or you just kind of need a reminder as to the kind of bullshit you would deal with if you decide to go back to this person, definitely check out the video. Okay, you guys know me, straight shooter, but I do it with love. So again, thank you all for coming. Thank you, Butch. Thank you, Cicely. Thank you, Rika, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I will be back here next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will think of the next type of topic that we can discuss. But if you have suggestions, shoot me an email. Let me know, and you know, I'll try to make some notes so I can have that all down for you guys. All right, guys. So I hope you all have a great night. I hope you all have a great week. Hopefully the weather will be beautiful for you guys, so you guys can get out there and enjoy the fresh air, just to, you know, become one with Earth. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy it all. And I will see you guys next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock, same place. All right, guys. Love you all, guys. Have a great night. Bye.